Hey guys, Kuza here and welcome to my video review of Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. This video review is going to be based on these factors alone: stage design, OST design, character design, and gameplay design, and I'll be finishing off the review with my final thoughts. Now, before we get started, I'd just like to say a few things. This review is based solely on my opinion alone, and it hasn't been made to offend or disappoint anyone. I hope you enjoy this review and find it informative and sound. Okay, so we're going to get started with stage design. Now, there are a total of 11 stages in Battle of Z. Now, considering that the Raging Blast games and Burst Limit games only had a number of 10 stages, that's not bad for a first game in my opinion. My favourite stage would have to be the Destroyed Namek stage. As you are fighting fiercely, you can see and feel the world crumbling around you, succumbing to its ultimate destruction at the hands of Frieza. I also like the fact that on very bright stages, such as the desert stage, you can see how the shadow sort of bounces off the environment, where the sun is behind it. It's a nice touch, giving me the impression that developers want to do right by this game's colour palette. Some stages even have key backdrops in them, such as when you are fighting Dabura and Majin Vegeta in the Buu saga. Buu shell can be seen during the fight and the cutscenes. It even pops open later on to release Buu, giving the particular mission a very authentic Dragon Ball Z feel, as if you're actually part of the story. So it's simple to say that this game has beautiful and simple stage design. I love the way that the colours complement each other even while dashing around and fighting at high speeds. It still proves to look fantastic and vibrant. The only thing missing in my opinion though is a Kami's Lookout stage. I feel that they should have implemented this into the game somehow, considering it had been in most other games very recently. There's not really much to say about OST design. Considering half of the tracks are direct rips from the Ultimate Tenkaichi and Raging Blast games, it has a pretty good playlist, especially with some of its original songs. Some are very fast paced and others are very slow and serious sounding, to give the immediate impression that you're in for a tough fight. I do think that some songs should have been left out though, as I feel that they can really depress the game for me. That's my opinion anyway. And now we're on to character design. I really found the character design to be a little less sound than the other games, but we already knew we were in for a downgrade when it comes to the graphics compared to other Dragon Ball Z games. Fortunately, there were a few things that did catch my attention that I really liked. Ever since I can remember when watching Dragon Ball Z as a kid, when characters fought and their auras were blaring around them, it meant that they were fighting at full power, giving it their all. So I really like this feature. One thing that bugged me in particular about the character models were the lack of flexibility and expression on the characters' faces. Other than the jaw movement and other limbs, eyes and pupils seemed frozen and flat, lifeless and dead almost. I also love the fact that you can customize any character of your choice by changing the different colours for whatever you like. So overall, I'd say that the graphics are quite good, but are a little bit more than dwarfed compared to the other titles on the Xbox 360 and PS3. It only makes up for this by giving you the ability to change the colours to whatever you like. Okay, so here's the big one. It's gameplay design. I have a lot to say on this one, so you better prepare yourself and go and get yourself a drink or a cup of tea if you're British. Okay, so the story mode is somewhat of a disappointment for me, as it only follows the adventures of the Z Fighters and co, with very little attention to detail. I like to think of this game as one big what-if saga, and I think that is how it was intended to be played. The difficulty is all over the place, where sometimes you may find a battle very easy without breaking a sweat, yet sometimes you might be stuck on one, forcing you to trek back some missions in hopes of getting better cards. The game is like one big RPG, where you're really tested for your character's powers and abilities and also your patience. This isn't some game you can complete on your first try. This game is and will be difficult. I will say, however, it is a nice challenge for once with the Dragon Ball Z game. It's a nice change that I could definitely get used to. The RPG element insists on using roles to your advantage. These roles consist of melee, support, interfere, and key type. You will need to assign different cards to different roles in certain ways to make sure that you get the best out of a particular character. For example, with Broly, who is my favourite character, I equip him with the best cards I can get stat-wise, such as the 100 plus cards that I got legitimately through the weekly lineup. I'm looking at you, hackers. I then choose between a selection of special cards that have very helpful traits. Broly is a melee type character with tank-like qualities. Remember, we are thinking as RPG players here. So, I equip cards that will help him stay in the fight longer. Berserker level 3 is useful for this. It reads, as HP is reduced, damage from special moves is increased. To complement this card, I pair Wild level 3 with it. It reads, as HP is reduced, melee and Ki Blast attack power is increased. This makes Broly, with his already powerful cards, a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. The less health he has, the more of a threat he becomes. After choosing the cards, a helpful little box tells me what has been applied to my character with useful information regarding what's actually been upgraded and what I should look out for. You gain these cards by completing missions by yourself with AI partners or with your friends online in the co-op modes. The more difficult the mission, the better the reward. The more difficult missions reward you with more than less difficult ones, just like any progressive RPG would. The harder the mission, the better the reward. I really like the big boss battles. They are really fun when working with your friends to take down such a giant foe. The boss battles include Great Ape Vegeta, Great Ape, I would assume Gohan, Hirudegan, and Metacooler Core, when he's part of the big Gete Star. I would like to see more of these for the future. I would have liked them to have included Janemba in this. I find it a little bit disappointing considering they could have added his next form as another character of the roster, as well as having his fat version as a boss. Another cool thing they added was the extra dialogue. When choosing certain characters in certain missions, they tried to tell the story of DBZ through this extra dialogue, though very vague to say the least. The AI isn't too good at first. If you're looking in the Saiyan saga, little Gohan over there might realise that you're screaming at the TV screen to move his short ass and revive you. He might just help you. I do say might. Later on in the game, if you've not given up on your chosen party members by now, they will have ranked up and gotten better, so to speak. I admit, after around partner rank 8, they don't seem like mindless meat sacks to be battered around by your so much smarter opponent, who revives their allies without a second thought. But overall, the team AI is just dumb and not very helpful. Now for the cinematics and the lip syncing, it isn't too good for the English dub. You can tell either the voice actors are getting very lazy and bored of repeating the same old stuff time and time again, or they really just don't give a crap anymore. Unless they did the dubs before they had even made the game, then that's a completely different story. But I know what I'd be betting on out of those choices. The Japanese dub syncs up almost perfectly, a damn sight better than the English one, as you can tell here from this example.
Well, I guess I have no other choice. Now I'm serious. What? He be a Super Saiyan.
さすがですね。仕方ない。本気でいきます。
なんだと。なんであの野郎がスーパーサイヤ人に。
The cutscenes, however, seem really well put together. They aren't half-assed like in most of the other DBZ games. It's still not on par with the likes of Burst Limit or the first Budokai game on the PlayStation 2, but it is a really good effort. And it's refreshing to see Namco Bandai breathing new life into the character designs once again. Fat Boo having the best cutscene, of course. I think that the character roster is far from complete. It lacks key characters which have never ever been missed before, such as Zarbon and Dodoria. I would have happily swapped out Gildo for either of those two, as I know they played key roles in the Frieza saga. The story suffers because of the lack of included characters, Zarbon and Dodoria only being two of which. Hell, where's Janemba? A potential boss battle right there, Namco Bandai. What the hell were you thinking? Now for ultimate attacks. To activate an ultimate attack, you need something called an ultimate jewel, which you can purchase from the premium collection for 5,000 premium points. You can only purchase it after completing the Spirit Bomb mission, either in single player or multiplayer. It doesn't matter which. So the only way to activate the ultimate attack while in a match is to build your Genki gauge at the top of the screen. There are multiple ways to do this by pulling off such things as meteor chains with your partners, or synchronized attacks, or being a supportive player and showing your own energy and healing your partners in need. Or you can rely on just general combat hoping for the best, but it isn't the most sure method and it's very slow. Once you've built up enough energy, you will be prompted with big lettering across the screen telling you that the ultimate attack can now be charged and is ready to be executed. You will then have to press and hold the left bumper, or L1 for you PS3 guys, then X and A or square and X at the same time. Your character will then shoot up into the air and begin charging energy. Your friends can help you by shooting their own energy at you, but you will still need protection from enemies. Or you will be at the risk of losing the energy you've just gathered and not performing the ultimate again for the entire match. Ultimate attacks are the only sure way of winning against a tough opponent. It is also the only way to get a Z rank in the mission modes. Unfortunately, you can only purchase 3 ultimate jewels a week. I don't know why this was needed, but I do find it very bothersome. After using the jewel, you will lose it, and one will be depleted from the set you just bought earlier, but fear not, if you fail to pull off an ultimate, you will not lose the jewel and you can go back and try again. You just simply have to re-equip it. The ultimate attacks as a whole were incredibly bland. The reaction from any character when meeting their ultimate destruction would be the same no matter what the ultimate attack was. Be it a Spirit Bomb or a Father-Son Kamehameha, they have this very long and awkward lean back motion, and it looks absolutely ridiculous. The scene where the ultimate attack explodes is always the same too, just different colours each time, and it just looks plain and way too simple. Only certain characters can perform ultimate attacks as well. This doesn't give a very big DBZ feel at all, considering the lack of ultimate attacks. The characters that can perform them are Goku in his base form, performing the Spirit Bomb, Gohan Super Saiyan 2, and Broly Legendary Super Saiyan. Frieza Full Power, Majin Vegeta, Gotenks Super Saiyan 3, and finally Kid Buu. Okay, so now we're coming towards the end of the video. Here are my final thoughts on the game. The game was clearly made with the intention of being played online. There are no offline CPU battles or split screen modes. So if you don't have Xbox Live or an internet connection, do not waste your money. If you do, however, knock yourself out. The online modes are very fun, and nothing beats kicking the crap out of Meta Cooler with your friends as all Super Saiyans, because online is where the fun is at. If there's a mission you are stuck on and you can't be bothered with babysitting the stupid AI partners, you can just call your friends in to help you out, and then boom, it's done. I will say that this game should be taken with a pinch of salt though. It's not a traditional Dragon Ball Z game, despite my earlier statement in my first impressions video. It is a brawler and it is just for fun. It isn't to be taken too seriously at all. Simply put, this is an arcade game and should be treated as such. One massive concern that arose recently that caused the delay of this video was the recent hacking of the world energy and cards in the game. Namco Bandai did a number on themselves, leaving their code wide open for hackers to use to their own selfish needs, thus ruining the game for everyone. The world energy was a nice touch and I did like it. I could see what everyone was achieving together as a Dragon Ball Z community, but now it's been ruined and it's kind of changed my thoughts on the game drastically. I was so close to never even doing this review, but well, now we're here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video review. I put a lot of work into this, so be sure to leave me a comment or a like and let me know if you share the same thoughts on the game as myself. So stay powered up guys, subscribe for more awesome videos, take care and thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.